Your point of view or your POV is your philosophy as to how you help clients succeed, how you solve their problem. When it is clearly articulated, it becomes a strategic asset for you and it strengthens every part of your consulting business, from your first impression to how you deliver your services. Including your point of view in your message, I help who with what, instantly kicks your message up a notch, especially if you've given your point of view a name. Having a clear point of view eliminates ambiguity and shows that you're just not another consultant, but one who gets it, one who understands their challenges, and you have a path that will help them succeed and solve their problems. I won't dispute your point of view is a fabulous marketing tool. It helps you connect with clients, influencers, partners, and it shows how you are different from your competitors. It helps you stand out in a crowded field of other consultants. But your point of view is much more than just a marketing tool. In other words, its power doesn't stop with marketing. This video discusses 8 ways your point of view impacts and strengthens your overall consulting business. If you are looking for a true story as to how one vendor's point of view helped a business owner decide who had 3 similar proposals, helped him decide which vendor to select, check out Market You with the help of your consulting point of view. There's a link in the description area below, and you can find the video on the point of view playlist, but you might also see it up above. Hi, I'm Laura Burford. What I do is I help independent consultants focus on what matters, and I help them eliminate the unnecessary noise so that they can succeed. When you focus on what matters, what you're known for, who you serve, how you help, you create better clients, people you want to work with and who want to work with you. You end up with consistent revenue and you get your life back. You have time for you. Your point of view is one of the key ingredients necessary to help you focus on what matters. If you're curious and you would like more information as to what I mean by focus on what matters and a less is more approach, download the ultimate guide to building a successful consulting business. There's a link in the description area. And if you add guide in the comment section, I'll make sure you receive a copy of the guide. Let's start by discussing each of the 8 ways your point of view impacts and strengthens your consulting business. The first way is your point of view guides your services. Your point of view is strategic. It isn't just theory. It's practical. It works. It's been tested. You've tested it out. Your point of view explains at a strategic level how you help clients achieve the results they're looking to achieve. This clarity, your point of view, becomes the starting point for defining your methodology, how you're going to help them get there. And it's the starting point for determining what tactical services you will offer. You want to deliver services that are tied to your point of view and services that align with your strengths. That's point 1. It helps you define your services. Point 2, your point of view shapes your discovery meetings, or you might refer to them as your exploratory meetings, and your proposals. When a client asks, "Can you help me?" you don't start from scratch. You already have a structured framework that you can use during the discovery meeting to help determine what that client is looking to achieve. And then when it comes to crafting an approach for a proposal, you have a starting point. You're using your point of view and the methodology as a starting point to craft an approach. You're not starting from scratch. Your point of view saves you time when you're responding to a client, and that helps with your credibility. Point three, your point of view helps build trusted relationships through consistency. As you connect, get known, and nurture a relationship, a strong point of view shows that you understand the pains, the fears, the root causes of the challenges your clients have. You see, your point of view isn't a checklist of services, it is a philosophy that explains why those challenges exist and how you can help resolve them. You're also consistent so that every conversation you have with a potential client sends the same message, the same point of view as to how you can help. The same point of view is articulated in every article you write and every email you send. By having a solid point of view, it shows you have a depth of understanding of how you can help your clients. And it positions you as a thoughtful, credible advisor. This consistency, constantly hearing the same thing over and over, helps people say, that consultant gets it. I want to hear more. Point four, and this is just as important as any of the others, it reduces the need to pitch. And I'm sure you can relate to this. Have you ever had a salesperson walk up to you and start pitching a product? If you're like me, you say, no, thank you. I'm just looking right now. And if they keep pitching or following you around the store, you get turned off. And even if I was thinking about purchasing something, if I have somebody pitching to me, I'm no longer interested and I leave. When your point of view is visible and consistent, and you work on building trusted relationships, on how you deliver your services, don't need to pitch your services. You let your point of view do the talking for you. Or as the saying goes, walking for you. Instead of pitching, your clients see a thoughtful, strategic approach to solving problems. And it's not a cookie cutter approach. They recognize you have a framework, a roadmap that builds trust even before they connect with you. And it's a roadmap that can be adjusted for them. I don't know about you, but I like it when somebody picks up the phone or sends me an email asking to talk. And when we start speaking, they already have some idea what I do and how I help. And that leads to point five. It encourages the right clients to self select. It has never been easier to research a person than today. And if you're like me, I perform an internet search or check out a person's LinkedIn profile to see what I can find out about them before I connect. Even if somebody sends me an email asking to connect, I check them out before I say yes. I want to see if it's worth my time as well as their time to meet. When you articulate your point of view consistently in conversations, in marketing content, in presentations, your ideal clients begin to self select. They come to know what you're about. They're more confident in reaching out and asking you questions because they already understand what kind of value you bring. They understand how you can help them and the results and benefits of working with you. Just as easy it is for people to self select because of your point of view also helps make it easy for you to say no. That is point six. When you're approached by a person who needs help, but the person isn't a fit for you for any number of reasons, your point of view helps explain what problems you solve and what problems you don't solve. Your point of view makes it easy to say no, but it also makes it easy for you to do it in a professional manner that saves you and the other person time and energy. Point 7, your point of view helps your reputation grow. A defined point of view keeps your message consistent throughout the entire client journey, from the initial conversations to the final deliverables. Clients know what to expect. And when you deliver on your promises, the promises in your point of view, your reputation grows. So does your business. And the final point, number 8, your point of view builds your own confidence. There's no other way I can say it. Clarity as to what you do and why breeds confidence. When you have a clear and repeatable point of view, you feel more comfortable articulating what you do, how you do it, and why it matters. You're no longer second guessing your responses or scrambling to adapt your message. Your message is solid. You can explain it. This ease allows you to show up with presence, show up comfortable to be there, respond to questions with clarity, and lead conversations with authority. It also reduces fatigue. Let's recap. Your point of view is a strategic asset. This what sets you apart from your competitors. It makes you different. But don't just create your point of view to use it as a marketing tool because it's much more. Your point of view impacts a number of parts of your business. And if it's used properly, it will help you grow. With a well developed point of view, it shapes your services. It ensures your services are aligned to the problems you solve. A well defined point of view helps and shapes your discovery meeting and your proposals. Point of view saves you time responding to potential clients when they ask for your help, and it strengthens your proposals. You have a fabulous starting point to come up with an approach. Your point of view helps build trusted relationships through consistency. By saying the same thing over and over and over, you build long term trust and credibility with the right people, your clients, influencers, partners, decision makers. A well defined point of view reduces the need to pitch. I don't like being pitched to. I'm sure you don't. Well defined point of view reduces the need for a hard sell. You're selling you, you're selling professional services. You're not selling a couple. People have to trust you, and a solid point of view helps build. A well defined point of view that's consistent and is easy to understand, is simple, encourages the right clients to self select. A well defined point of view makes it easy for you to say no because you can articulate this is what problems I solve and how I solve it. The next point, the next thing that a well defined point of view helps with is your reputation. It helps your reputation grow because you're consistent with the same message over and over. And when you have the same message from start to finish, from initial conversation to delivery, and you deliver on your promise, the promise that's in that point of view, you help build additional credibility so that they want to use you again and refer you. And the last point, well defined point of view helps with your own confidence. So that when you are out connecting and getting to know people, you feel comfortable with what you say. You're not stumbling over words. You're saying the same thing over and over. Take the time to define and refine your point of view. Your point of view is one of the most important assets you have. Use your point of view to help you build and grow your consulting business. I mentioned 8 ways that your point of view is more than a marketing tool. You might have other ways. And if you do, let me know in the comment section. I love to hear it. I promise I'll respond. If you're looking for ways to improve your point of view, or if you don't have a point of view, check out the videos on the point of view playlist. There's a link in the description area. And now I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I truly believe that your point of view is one of the most valuable assets to help you build and grow your business. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking on the bell to be notified when the video is available. And if it's been helpful, a thumbs up would be appreciated. Until next time, the next video in the series is released. Take care. And I look forward to seeing you soon.